Gugu Mbatha-Raw, it is an absolute pleasure to speak to you, especially about Misbehaviour. This is a film with so many layers to it, and I want to start with the script because we're seeing some of the comments in the pageant scenes, particularly the jokes made by Bob Hope's character. What did you feel when you read the script? Because sometimes when I was watching the movie, I thought,
me too. Yeah, absolutely. But I just loved the script. It was done with such a sense of wit and rebellion. And I didn't know anything about this story before. So, you know, it's such an interesting period, 1970, and obviously a much less PC time. But I thought it was really important that this film was being told by women, female producer, female writers, our director, Phillipa Lowthorpe, also a woman, but also very rooted in the female gaze, you know, reclaiming this potentially misogynistic point of view of Bob Hope and the contest and showing it from the women's perspective.
And especially because this film kind of shows almost the different sort of sides of feminism, because on one hand you had Keira the activist, but then you also had you, the participant in the contest, whose character stands for her own morals and her own kind of dilemmas. What was it like for you kind of exploring all of these different aspects? And do you think the movie kind of changes how we should think about feminism?
I think so. I mean, I think initially I was probably quite judgmental about beauty queens and thought, oh, well, there's the activists and there's the beauty queens and, you know, they're vacuous or they've got different motivations. But I think it really depends on where you're coming from. And I think for Jennifer, this was a real opportunity. She was from a small island in the Caribbean. A lot of people hadn't heard of Grenada, or they confused it with Granada in Spain. And, you know,
or the TV production company as well.
Exactly. I mean, it's endless. Or you know, and she was really an ambassador for her country. The country didn't have independence from England at the time. So for her, it was really a stepping stone. And she became a pioneer as the first woman of colour to win the competition. She really was breaking boundaries. And, you know, I think that's where intersectional feminism comes into it, because she had different opportunities and choices to Keira's character, Sally. And sometimes rebellion can be a luxury if you don't have a seat at the table.
Now, the film is called Misbehaviour. And it kind of got me thinking, has there ever been a point in your life where you've been very badly behaved? I know, it's one of those sorts of questions.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I was such a goody-goody at school. I don't think I was much of a rebel. I'm probably more rebellious in my work choices now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I really have anything. I think the things that I would always do would be silly, like funny. Like, you know, I dropped a custard cream on a teacher at a music concert once at school and got into trouble for that. But, you know, it was all stuff that would be a dare or would make you laugh. It was never anything actually terribly bad. But no, I mean, I love the fact that the film has a sense of rebellion, and I think, you know, there's ways to get your message across through your work too.
Well, that beats throwing up in a club and then strutting on out very confidently. Like that's
your one.
That's my one. Yeah, that is my one. Absolutely. It was at uni, and the worst thing is I'm not even ashamed of it. Absolutely not. But you kind of were talking about your rebellious work choices, and I loved your performance in the morning show. It was harrowing, to be honest. Also Motherless Brooklyn, and then going on to Misbehaviour. If we're looking at your career, what's been the most mentally challenging role for you?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't always go for a mental challenge. Sometimes it's a physical challenge. Sometimes it's an emotional challenge. In terms of the morning show, that was definitely an emotional challenge and a responsibility, dealing with, you know, those storylines that involved sexual assault. I think, you know, we felt very sensitive about exploring that topic in a nuanced way. It's certainly a physical challenge to do something like Misbehaviour, you know, in terms of being in a swimsuit, you know, on stage in high heels. I mean, how ridiculous is that, high heels in a swimsuit?
I mean, hon, you look fabulous. I wouldn't worry about it. Really, I wouldn't, but...
But, you know, it's something that I wouldn't choose to do unless there was, you know, a strong message or a strong reason. And, you know, we had posture lessons, which was really quite fun. We had a coach and we all got to sort of have this Miss World boot camp where we learned how to sit and move and practiced our walk and, you know, for example, how I'm sitting now is really not the way to sit. You're supposed to sit with your ankles crossed, not your legs crossed, because that's not ladylike. A bit like Meghan Markle
when she's the Duchess, kind of, yeah.
Exactly. So that was, a different physical challenge. So I think every role, comes with its own different challenges, and that's the joy of acting, I think, the variety.